Hello everyone, this is Flynn. This video I'm going to show you how I introduced like game announcements into my game. So in my prior videos it would have been probably pretty hard to keep track of like what was doing what or what happened. You kind of got an idea of when things were happening when I was rolling dice or making an armor save, but I decided to introduce like an announcement mechanic, and it's still a work in progress, but I think it serves a pretty good purpose right now, and it allows the players to know what is going on and what happened. And so you can see there's 3 text boxes right now up here, and they will pop up as needed. And there are probably better ways to do this, but this is the quickest way I could think of implementing like a series of messages or announcements. Now I do have the code from a prior game that I created and played around with to create a chat box. And I don't know if I want to add a chat box into this game. But with the chat box, I could modify it to have multiple screens, and one screen could just show the users what's happening in this game, like all the events that happen in this game. Another screen of the chat box could be actually used for chatting. There's many things you could do with the chat box. It took me a while to design, and I was able to use that for multiplayer as well. So I don't know if I'll ever add that back into this game, but anyway, I just started with something like this: 3 different text panels that will just pop up with a message as needed. So let me go press play right now. The first thing you see is Let's Play Mana Harvest. Round 1, movement phase has begun. It is now player 1's turn. And notice it didn't stay there forever, right? Because it's kind of ugly right now. And even if it were pretty, had a good artist to make it look good, it's probably not something I want to keep there. Because this is supposed to be the title of the game type, the game match. And this is where you can see what type of game you're playing. But anyway, it did let everybody know that the game has begun. It's round 1, and it's also player 1's turn. So, in this row right here, I have 3 orcs that are player 1's, and this row right here, I have 3 orcs that are player 2's. And so it's player 1's turn. So player 1, I'm going to move one of my orcs here, and I don't have a test mode on right now. So it's going to play like if I were playing the real game instead of me just constantly doing things back and forth. It's going to play like if I were playing an actual game against an opponent, where I make a move and then the opponent makes a move. So I'm going to move here, and then Butch has moved. It is now player 2's turn. So I actually named my orcs this time. This orc is named Butch. This is Big Baby, Knob, Bitch Ass Orc, Orc Bitch, and Orc Nub. So these are the enemy player's orcs. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and make a movement here. Orc Nub has moved. It is now player 1's turns. So that's kind of how the game is going to flow. Really, I make a move, the player makes a move. So now things are starting to come alive when we get these announcements. And then you can kind of see how these tokens actually come into play a little bit more now. And let's just finish my whole movement phase like so. I'm going to move this one. So Big Baby has moved, player 2's turn. Move him closer here. Orc Bitch has moved. And just notice how it just the turn rotation just automatically happens, right? Because once I make a move, it will be automatically the other player's turn. So now all orcs have moved, right? But we're still in the movement phase. One thing I probably need to identify whose turn it is, because even right now I kind of forget. So I probably have to add that later, but I don't know. I'm either player 1 or player 2's, but I'm going to go player 1 real quick and press end movement phase. Okay, so I was player 1 at that point. Hasn't a move. Now it's player 2's turn. See, I didn't make a move. My action for that turn was to end my movement phase. And now it's player 2's turn. They have no more movements left, but they have to end their movement phase. So I'm going to end movement phase now. Player 2's ended movement phase. Ability phase has begun. Is now player 1's turn. So now we are in the ability phase, and it's player 1's turn. Right now, each phase, it always starts with player 1, and I will find out a way to maybe kind of rotate that going forward. But yeah, so here I want to show off some cool features here. I got the heal wave on this orc, and he's going to heal all his little buddies, and let's see what happens. Oh, and by the way, with rolls, just to make this game easier for demonstration purposes, everything's a successful roll on a 2-up now, just so I don't have to keep scrolling through game rounds to get a successful hit. The real game probably won't be as generous. So I'm going to do heal wave, and as long as I get a 2-up. Oh crap! I didn't get it. I got a 1. That's Warhammer, man. I'm just saying. All I needed was a 2-up to show you something, the cool announcement that would have happened there. I'm going to have to wait an entire game round before I can cast that again. So, anyway. Now it's player 2's turn. I'm just going to end player 2's ability phase entirely. So now it's player 1's turn. And when a player ends their phase and the other player has a lot more actions to move, that player gets to finish all the remaining actions. So I have a lot more actions to do with these guys. I'm still allowed to make all these moves right now in succession, right? I don't have to wait for the other player to do anything because they've already ended their phase. So let me do a fire blast. Okay, cool. So I hit all 3. Look how I got a red under there, and then it says if you had time to read the message, all those orcs were affected by the damage. So there's 2 things going on here. I had a cool announcement where it labeled all the orcs that were affected by the ability, and then I had a highlighting effect of all the orcs that were targeted. The highlighting was a red disc, and now you have the 3 dice cubes on top of it that signify that the other player needs to make a roll right now. So otherwise, I can't do anything until that player finishes their roll, right? Yeah, I designed the game where everything's frozen until kind of the other player makes the rolls. Okay, so this guy's going to make his roll as player 2. Bitch ass orc has saved 2 damage. It will now take 2 damage. So bitch ass orc, his armor save is 4, by the way. So all the save rolls of 4 or higher were saving damage. So they're all the same profile because they're all the same model right now, same creature. So let's roll here. He has full 5 health. He saved 1, so he took 3 damage. Bitch ass orc has saved 1 damage, took 3 damage. He even says it right there. So he saved nothing. That was a poor roll, and he took all 4 damage. So he's almost dead. So going back to player 1, I'm gonna end my no. I'm still player 1, right? I got this cool ability called Hamstring. This is my first ability where I do damage and I also apply an effect. Hamstring, if you're familiar with World of Warcraft, it slows your movement, right? So I'm going to apply Hamstring onto this orc right here. Need a 2-up. Got it. Big Baby has a 1 damage to bitch ass orc or orc bitch. Player 2 makes save roll now. Big Baby has applied Hamstring. That was the second announcement. So I can even highlight this orc and it says Hamstring there. Let's look at the details. Reduces movement speed by 5 for 1 round. Okay. So now I have to make that save roll immediately. Failed. Orc bitch has saved 0 damage. It will take 1 damage. All right. Let's go back to my abilities here. Let's do Eagle Sight. This is a I don't know if I communicate what this does. Name Eagle Sight. Range is 5. Damage is 0. Roll of 2-up. Cast an ability to increase a buff to target friendly monsters by 10. So it increases the range of the ability, all ability ranges by 10. That's really does. So Probably work on that description a bit better. I need a 2-up, it fails. So do Savage Strike on this guy. Butch has done 3 damage to Orc Bitch. Player 2 must make save rolls now. Saved 1 damage, he'll take 2 damage. Alright. So I'm done those abilities, Speed Haste. Let's do Speed Haste. Anything but a 2. Alright, cool. I got Speed Haste. Increases movement speed by 5 for 1 round. As you can see, the movement now is 15. You can even see here, this is your creature's movement. This amount is currently modified by 5. And look at my other orcs, they're all movement 10. Cool, so I'm going to end my ability phase. And the ability phase, objective phase has begun, is now player 1's turn. Alright. And so, I'm going to click an orc. I'm going to try to grab this Monowell here. And I need a 2-up. Cool. Nob has harvested 1 mana. It is now player 2's turn. Let's see if I can do that. Cool. Orc Bitch has harvested 1 mana. It is now player 1's turn. And so you would just go back and forth trying to grab this objective, fight for it. I'll try to make the game a bit more interesting. But that's the gist of that. So let me end my objective phase. It's player 2's turn now. Now player's 1, movement phase. Let me end my movement phase. So I want to show you heal real quick, which doesn't do much. It's not much different than the Fire Blast, but anything but a 1. See, look at my orcs are all highlighted blue. It says, has done 1 healing to Nob, Big Boy, and Butch. So just did an AoE heal to these 3 orcs, and they're highlighted blue. So that's pretty much the game I have so far. I've introduced announcements so players can follow the flow of the game. And see what happens, with movement. So this helps guide you what's happening, but also like things like the visuals like I have where the targeted orcs are either highlighted blue if they're getting buffed or healed, or highlighted red if they're being targeted of damage. Online, when I make this multiplayer, when people select an orc to move, you're going to be able to see this, so it's more engaging in a way. I mean, at least you know what's happening along with the announcement. Bitch-ass orc has moved, now player 1's. So I'm just trying to make the flow and the follow of the game easier for players. So at this point, I think I'm okay with what I have, except for maybe I need an indicator to say whose turn it is in addition to the announcement. That might make things clearer. I think my next video, I think what I'm going to do is actually finally get to different models and kind of have a very rough draft of, 2 different armies. I'm going to have the orcs and I'm going to have I think the humans, either humans or dwarfs. And then I'm also going to try to organize a good playing map, make this game somewhat playable, have different monowells strategically placed, or think about how to play the mana harvest game, right? I mean, I know I want the characters or the creatures to harvest the mana, but I'm thinking about ways how you're really going to go about doing that. Is everybody just going to rush to a mana well and just stay there and keep grabbing the objective, or will I randomly spawn random mana wells, and then players have to move toward the one that just spawned to grab to harvest it, or have 3 or 4 mana wells, maybe one in the middle that people fight over, or I could have a random mana well being the bonus mana well for that round. If you happen to be at that mana well, you can get bonus mana. Because I want the game to be much more than just simply killing people. I really want it to be an objective-focused game, whatever game type I'm trying to make. Killing is definitely going to be part of it. I'm even considering having a respawn of some kind. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, that's that's what I got so far. That's the end of this video.